Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, that you're all having an incredible day. For the third time in the news in the last 8 days, it says Tether overtakes XRP in market cap. There is always one development in the cryptocurrency space that will leave people puzzled. Barring all the coin market cap controversies, the big news this weekend is how Tether overtook XRP in market cap. The total valuation of individual projects tied to cryptocurrency space is always evolving. Bitcoin remains the undisputed leader by quite a margin, while Ethereum firmly is in second place. Further down the rankings, they are certainly heading in a different or interesting direction. Even though XRP has remained in third place for long, this is no longer the case. Instead, Tether's USDT currency has shot up in market cap and now trails Ethereum. The gap between Tether and XRP is just $110 million. Thus, it is possible their respective positions may change back and forth over the coming days. So, the interesting part is that once again, this is the third time I'm seeing an article like this over the past. It's legit been a week and a day. No more. If it's been any more, no, it has not been. The interesting part is that this is also once again not true. However, it was true, but no longer is. It took about a good 3.5 minutes for that to completely change course. What happened was, and what has been happening the last couple of weeks, we got news or have been receiving news or speculative news about Tether or from the people from Tether that apparently they have so much demand right now for their stablecoin to be minted, printed, created, made, that they're creating more of it. As such, we've seen a huge increase in the amount of stablecoins just sitting on cryptocurrency exchanges, potentially in the anticipation of a huge market movement, and therefore people could use their stablecoins and shift that directly into the cryptocurrency market. On the other side, what happened was, or what I believe happened was, is that they printed more Tether, and you know, whatever Tether making Tether had to do. And then immediately after, XRP started going up in price. I assume it had to do, and this is my own outlook on it. What should I even call it? Should I call it like fearful Bitcoin syndrome? So remember years ago, for those of you who were not here, if there was ever a situation where altcoins would really start shooting up, or we had this situation where it looked like, but for those of you who don't know, Google Ethereum flippening. There was a time where Ether was relatively close-ish in market cap to Bitcoin. And the idea was, you know, if it kept on pushing up for another week, Ethereum was going to overtake Bitcoin, and then therefore Bitcoin would become the altcoin. I did the air quotes because Bitcoin's not an altcoin, but you kind of get the mindset behind it. There were even like photos of people like, you are the altcoin now. Anyway, so there was a situation also where XRP at some point had flipped Ethereum, and then Ethereum's price was started rocketing up in an effort to kind of get away from, you know, what's happening. So I always find it fascinating when coins may not be particularly active in price, may not have any major price movements over the last couple of days, but something scares them, and I guess therefore scares other investors in that space, and they go, okay, now we have to kind of start doing something, because XRP has held a huge amount of its sway in the market because it has remained the third coin for so long. But then you have something like Tether, which is just another digital version of the US dollar, overtaking you, and it's kind of like, okay, we got to kind of move. So anyway, at least at the time of me making this video, I'll show you guys in a couple seconds the whole price thingies, what have you. But yeah, Tether did pass XRP, and then immediately after, like minutes after, XRP went up by like 1.5%. So I mean, at this point, all it takes is a drop of XRP in price, or just another, what was like 200 million Tether to be printed, and then Tether will oddly become the third largest cryptographic coin that we have on the market. Yeah. Let's move on. In your oh my gosh, this news was all over the place news, on Saturday, the 16th of May, Robert Kiyosaki, best known as the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, series of personal finance books, made some quite bold price predictions for silver, gold, and Bitcoin. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is one of the top 10 personal finance books of all time, is a book that advocates the importance of financial literacy, financial education, financial independence, and building wealth through investment in assets, real estate, yada, yada, yada. Earlier today, Kiyosaki, who has been criticizing for the past several weeks the Federal Reserve's response to 19, sent out a tweet that laid out where he thinks the prices of silver, gold, and Bitcoin will go within the next few years. His tweet said, economy, dying. Fed, incompetent. Next, bailout, in huge letters. Trillions in pensions. Hope, fading. Bought more gold, silver, Bitcoin. Gold, currently at 1,700. I predict 3,000 in 1 year. Silver, $17. I predict $40 in 5 years. That's a long time frame. He said Bitcoin, 9,800. I predict $75,000 in 3 years. Pray for the best, prepare for the worst. I don't know where he got those numbers from. They're kind of all over the place. I think we're going to well past 75,000 in 3 years. And then even more so, math. That's a 7948976. That's gold doubling in a year. Silver takes 5 years to double and a bit. And Bitcoin still far outsurpasses them in value and growth, even over a 3-year period. So one of them is the clear winner in that situation. Since the start of 2020, according to data from Gold Silver LLC, the price of silver has gone from $17.86 an ounce to $16.62, a loss of 6.97%, and the price of gold has gone from $1,500 an ounce to $17.42, a gain of 14.83%. Well, good for gold. Everywhere, all over the place, at once. I saw at least 38,000 different. I mean, this was all over the place. I think Kiyosaki has said something before in the past about how he believes in Bitcoin. He likes Bitcoin. He understands the idea of Bitcoin. He thinks Bitcoin could be something absolutely major, but for some reason, I guess maybe it was the actual number predictions. I think it's one thing if someone is like, hey, Bitcoin's good. And then another thing if they're like, hey, I think Bitcoin's going to go to bajoop amount of money. So yeah, these are the predictions will continue to roll in. I assume this one is more significant as it was done by Mr. Kiyosaki. Once again, math. Bitcoin still wins in all of that. And yeah, even the other charts that we've seen before. I won't go into numbers. The point is, all over the place. Thank you, Mr. Kiyosaki, for your kind words. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, in Sure Why Not news, the Libra Association has added another member to its long list of governing firms. This time, the addition comes in the form of Temasek Holdings Pivot Limited in Singapore. The company is a state-owned investment firm and will assist in all future decision-making when it comes to Facebook's official currency. In a statement, the association explained, Temasek, a global investment company headquartered in Singapore, brings a differentiated position as an Asia-focused investor. In addition, companies such as Paradigm and Slow Ventures has also stepped aboard the Facebook crypto train. Temasek expressed excitement over being part of the program. International Deputy Chief Executive Officer Chia Song Hui explained in a statement, our participation in the Libra Association as a member will allow us to contribute towards a regulated global network for cost-effective retail payments. Many developments in the space excite us. We look further to exploring the potential of this technology. This was also kind of everywhere. A lot of people believed that Libra was dead. No, it took a heavy beating, but they still stand to be one of the largest currencies on the planet, if not one of the largest banks. So I don't assume, regulations aside, that they're going to stop with the completion of this project anytime soon. The news that we got last time was that apparently in June, they're supposed to launch a slew of stable coins. as per the request of government bodies around the world. But apparently around October, I believe this is when they are expected to launch. I mean, and it's no longer a matter of we'll see. Like, we know this is going to happen. If you if regulators came to you and said, "Hey, stop it," and you had the chance to become one of the largest banks on the planet, you'd be like, "Okay, I'll stop," but you would continue. I mean, they're doing it openly. A lot of the members who they've lost have also. I mean, remember when they lost all those members last year, the end of this? I don't know. Recently, when they lost about 7-8 members who were like, "Yeah, we're leaving. We don't believe in Libra," and then they all went and created their own organization to try and make their own stablecoin. It's just all about money and greed. These people don't care about decentralization or helping retail payments. It's about who can make the most money the fastest. So more companies are, of course, going to jump on the Libra train. It's just a matter of who will use it. And that's not me saying that in like a snarky way, like no one's going to use it. People are dumb enough that tons of people are going to be using Libra and will be totally fine being tracked. Anyway, that's the Libra news. And let's move on. Next up, whoa, what was that? My mouse was all over the place. Next up, a new Chinese startup focused on Bitcoin mining broke into the top 10 hash power providers last week. A local industry observer tweeted on the 13th of May, reportedly launched 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Lubian.com is now ranked 6th amongst all miners. 6th after 2 weeks, as per data on BTC.com. The firm accounts for 5.99% of Bitcoin's mining hash power at the time of writing and provides a steady hash rate of over 7 exahashes. There's that little chart right there. The pool has surged ahead of other exchange-owned miners such as Huobi, OKEX, and Binance, all generating significantly less output than Lubian. As data shows, Lubian mined 27 blocks last weekend, collecting over 337 Bitcoin in rewards, pre and post-halving, and generating anywhere between $2.8 million and $3.2 million at current Bitcoin prices. Must be nice. So I guess the news is another company located in China has once again taken the spotlight when it comes to Bitcoin mining. And many years ago, even now ago, we had a situation where there were, I think, 3 mining pools that controlled over 51% of Bitcoin's hash rate, and a lot of people got a little upset at that when they were like, "Hey, can't do that." A lot of the companies broke down. They didn't disappear. I assume still. You don't give up making millions of dollars per week. Like that just doesn't happen. So I assume they fragmented themselves into some of these over here. Yeah, I assume this is going to happen for a very long time. You have to understand, or at least semi-understand, that governments are now in play at this as well. And if you as a government stand to make an enormous amount of money just owning a portion of, if not the entire thing of a cryptocurrency mining pool, and you already have the hugest amount of hash power within your borders, you're going to continue to try and keep control of that. Like imagine you had a country and you were the leader of said country and you knew that there was a coin or a new currency that could potentially take over everything, and you in your country were generating the most of it. You'd be like, okay, let's continue this and let's try and make more of it. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is not surprising at all. What's more surprising to me is that we keep getting news that players in Asia are completely dominating the space, while the other parts of the world kind of don't. I had to shuffle through my library of words, and that was the nicest one I could really find. Really surprised. You would assume that we would get more news that there's one somewhere in Brazil or somewhere else that's dominating, or somewhere in the States that's dominating, somewhere in Iceland, somewhere in South Africa that's completely dominating hash rate, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. But alas, it's always in Asia. And I predict this will be an issue for everyone else in the future, because they didn't take the time to actually build up something massive enough. And that's not to say that we don't have massive ones around the world. However, one place keeps getting control of it, and I think they stand to benefit the absolute most in the future. So Anyway, that's that news, which was also kind of all over the place. A lot of people kept on bringing this up. But yeah, let's move on. Next up, Crypto.com said on Friday it has begun shipping its crypto to fiat card, the MCO Visa, across the European Union. In total, 31 European countries, including the EU's 27 member states, now have access to the card that lets them pay in crypto, it said in a blog post. The Hong Kong company received approval to bring the program to the European market in October. Coinbase's own card, similar card, is available to 29 European nations, according to its FAQ. MCO Visa was previously only available in the US and Asia. Crypto.com also announced on Thursday its US cardholders can begin integrating with Apple and Google Pay. Wow, wonderful. The card works by exchanging users' crypto for local fiat when the user loads crypto onto the card. Crypto.com claimed in a blog post it already had thousands of reservations from EU consumers lined up for the MC Visa card, and further claimed its user base was over 2 million people. Cool, wonderful. Also everywhere. This is kind of a news I missed news. I mean, it's significant. We now have many different ways for people to be able to spend their crypto, make more use of their crypto, buy things that they may need with their cryptocurrencies. Is anyone? No. I was gonna say, is anyone gonna do it? Yeah, there are definitely people who spend their crypto. Am I gonna do it? No. Maybe in 10 years, but even then, I think we'll be in a very different spot economically and Bitcoin-economically than we currently are right now. But we're seeing a huge surge in companies creating these cards. There must be some type of a demand for them if they're creating so many of them. But good luck to them and their cards. It's a way for people to be able to buy things with crypto in its most obvious answer. Let's move on. And to finish things off, Latin Americans now have a new way to save their money with crypto and guard against the risk of inflation from local currencies. Crypto lending startup Ledn, it is LEDN, which is supposed to be a movement of LEND. I don't know why this trend continues in the cryptocurrency space. Ledn today announced a partnership with lending and trading company Genesis to offer savings accounts in USDC stablecoins. USDC-C is a stablecoin developed by leading US crypto exchange Coinbase and payment startup Circle that is pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar. The service provided by Ledn allows its users to receive the benefits of traditional banking options, wow, wonderful, but without the hurdles of standard financial services or the volatility of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. There's a little tweet, and there's a woman with a hat looking out at the water. Makes a lot of sense for what they're trying to sell. While the service won't be exclusive to Latin America, Ledn is primarily targeting the area in order to provide the residents of the inflation-riddled region with a way to safeguard their money without the complex KYC requirements of traditional banking. Ledn and Genesis are essentially facilitating access to US dollars in countries where banks have no support for accounts in US dollars. How fragmented this world is. It's absolutely one of the dumbest things I mean, you have to think 20 years ago, I think we all assumed that there would be a very different world than the one that we currently have. The fact that services are so fragmented that there's not, I'm not even talking about a single world currency. I mean, everyone having their own currency, but simply being able to swap between them with ease as quickly. Like we can send data at lightning speeds through the air. Like I can write a 100-page book and I can send it to you through email and text in a couple of seconds. Why is it impossible for these countries to still not have access to bank accounts or bank accounts that don't support the US dollar? Just anything in general. Like I feel like at this point, every single bank should have access to every single other currency that's kind of out there on their order books. Anyway, the point is, while not the most exciting news for you, I think this is absolutely incredible. I am not a huge advocate of stablecoins. However, I mean, if you've been paying attention to all the ridiculousness that's been happening in these countries, the amount of inflation that they're going through, not even talking about Venezuela's 1 million% hyperinflation, just in general, like a 15, 25, 30% inflation per year over the last 10 years, your money's garbage. So this provides them a way to be able to kind of save, hold their money and value, air quotes, if you will, with, in accordance with the US dollar. This is going to lead to a lot of problems in the future. Or rather, I'll say it this way. Conflicts have started over less. And the fact that we are now seeing not only a movement away from paper money, we're also seeing a movement away from the actual usage of the US dollar in a digital form that is not controlled by the US government. And this is why I think we've seen so many lawsuits and stuff like that against the people from Tether. Because, I mean, when you are on the cusp of becoming or have become the third largest cryptocurrency, I mean, it's just a huge amount of... It's the same thing that guy from, was it Telegram? Yeah, he was saying a couple days ago, like every single movement that has happened that has circumvented the actual usage of US dollars or gotten people away from the usage of US dollars through an app or something like that, they've all been completely squashed down and completely decimated. So I can only imagine in countries where they're actually like really going through it with actual hyperinflation, which the US still has not gone through, even like strong inflation. I think we're going to see a lot of pushback in these countries. I think we're going to see a lot of these services shut down. This is just kind of how I'm seeing it. And a lot of these things are going to simply be wiped out as other countries try to create their own cryptocurrencies or get other people to use their own crypto digital currency assets, which are also going to then be hyperinflated as well, as they, if they couldn't do it with paper, they're not going to be able to do it on a screen where you can hit a button and simply create more of it. So I think these things are great. I hope that people in these countries and around the world continue to accumulate Bitcoin just as another type of hedge against the things that are going to come. Like, this isn't going to be an easy journey. Like, we're not going to simply wake up one day, stretch and go and get news that the US dollar is no longer being used. This is going to, the US dollar controls the world. So you'd better believe there's going to be a digital fight of some sort that is on the horizon. Once again, I still predict this will really take shape when Bitcoin passes by 50,000. That'll be the point where we will start hearing about the banning of Bitcoin in certain countries. I don't think it's going to happen in major countries because i.e., for example, the States, Europe, and certain parts of Asia, simply because money rules politics there. And I think the money who rules the politics and the politicians themselves already have understandings of where this is going, and they probably own Bitcoin themselves, my assumption. But in other parts of the world where their currencies are already in danger and they already fall under the heavy arm of regulations and sanctions, that's where the battle is going to really take shape. Anyway, that's that news. And yeah, let us move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Crayola Michelle, URL, On Crypto with Lionel, Tigara Machonisa, Bake Me a Cake, Arfmedic17, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bodie McBoatface, Yes to Crypto, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Minting Coins, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Anthony Charles, Nick Mangialavori, Paxis, Vlad the Impaler, Richie Rich, 3, Nick Kanaya, Setsuna Damien, Nicholas Werner with One Piece, One Love, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Adobo, Bankroll Network, Crypto Joe 242 to the World, Wise Night Owl, Jared Schneider, Wise, nope, already said that, Master Ventures in Thailand, Mohammed Maroni, Adam Graysick, Todd Mullis, A Bibliophobia, The Animal Reader, John Sarson, Nostromo, Chongololo, Tsangololo, Martin Steuer, Joshua Vineyard, The Pothead, Moonman High, XRP, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, and Professor Wally from Gunbot University. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a subscriber of the new channel. It is appreciated. Thank you to everyone who is a member of this channel. Also appreciated, and thank you to everyone in general for all that you do. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at 9,491. A couple of seconds ago, we were over 5,000. There were a couple of articles I didn't have in the video because it was redundantly redundant. talking about that Bitcoin had passed by 9,500. If it sustains over the weekend, we could be looking at bullish momentum towards 10,000. When it happens, it happens. There's no need for the hype, as it were, from articles. Ethereum is currently over 200 as well. There was also a lot of hype in many different articles talking about the same exact thing, that if we maintain over 200, I think it was $210. If we maintain over that, we could be looking at a rocket towards $280 per coin. And here's the talk of the hour. XRP to Tether. They are $400 million off, $40 million, $400 million. 8 billion, $40 million off from swapping places. This is the little, it's already going down. This is the surge that I was talking about right before I started making the video, this movement up, because I assumed the flip had happened and people were like, hey, we got to move it back up. So just expect that it could potentially happen again over the next couple of hours. It doesn't seem unlikely. Do you see all this volatility is out of control, but I assume it has to do with people who are accumulating, people who are trying to sell off, people who are gathering their berries and because they realize that the halving has happened, and also people who just simply haven't really realized that the halving has taken place at all. We're going to see this volatility for a while until we break up heavily or break down heavily. Whoa, Tether just shot up. Holy goodness. Anyway, anything else significant? Nothing too crazy. I think Zcash was up by almost 7%. Sure. Nothing else too crazy. I do hope you all enjoyed. Do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.